everyone, and welcome. Thank you all so much for joining us today for this live stream event. My name is Alexia, and I am the Program Manager of the Microsoft Reactor Toronto. I will be sharing session resources with you in the chat, but before we begin, I'd like to quickly review two items, our Code of Conduct and Event Guidelines. First, please take a moment to review our Code of Conduct. Microsoft Reactor seeks to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. We encourage engagement in the chat, but please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional and on topic. And secondly, our event guidelines. This session is being recorded and will be available on demand through the Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel in about 24 to 48 hours. I will be sharing the link in the chat for our on-demand content. And if you have not been on a live stream through YouTube before, please note that you must create an account on YouTube in order to have access or interact in the chat. You can set that up now, and if you're unable to use the chat but have questions, feel free to reach out to us through social media or on our website. Which brings us to today's session. Today is episode 2 of the Get Started with Microsoft Copilot series. I'm going to bring in our speaker here for today. Anna, hi.
Hi, everyone. Hello.
Thank you so much for being with us again for this series for episode 2.
Thank you for the space. I really like it.
Yeah, we're very excited for this series once again. And yeah, take it away.
Perfect. So I'm sharing my screen. I hope you can see it. As Alicia mentioned already, this is the second episode, and we're going to speak about getting started with Microsoft Copilot. When we speak about Microsoft Copilot, I'm speaking about Copilot Studio for this episode. And what we're going to learn throughout this hour, hopefully, is to make our own Copilot with no code. Of course, we will dive deep into the basics and speak a bit more of the theory or what are the concepts on the Copilot side, and then we will just dive deeper into how we can build our own Copilot and how we can make a Copilot for absolutely everything. So yeah, welcome back. This is the series. We already done this one on January 10. This one was supposed to be last week. I have a lot of issues with my audio, and we were scheduled for today. So thank you everyone who was there last week, and I'm just really sorry. And then we have the next one, which will be this Wednesday, that we will speak about the low-code Copilot for low-code and how we can use it for development within Power Platform. And probably we will invite someone to walk us through some examples that they can share. So thank you. We're in the second episode, and this is great. I don't want to bother you much with who I am, but basically it's Anna. You can reach out on social media or in any of these links that I'm sharing with you. My name is quite easy, might not be easy to pronounce, but it's easy to find. So you will find it around quite soon. If you put Anna O-double-R, probably I will be the first suggestion. So thank you very much, everyone. This is the agenda for today. It's very simple. Here we have an AI Microsoft Designer generated image. I don't remember the prompt, but I think it was based on an artist. I don't remember the artist because I don't remember anything. But this is what we're going to discuss today. We're going to the introduction. There we're going to our Copilot Studio to discuss a bit of what it is. Then we're going to the building our own Copilot, and then we have other options as well as the Q&A, where I will take some time to answer your questions. Feel free to pop them in the chat. Alicia will be monitoring the chat and help me out with addressing all of your concerns at the end of the session. So keep your eyes open and your ears open and type the questions that you may have. Good. So with all this, let's just get this started. So the introduction, this is something that we did last week as well. It's about what is a Copilot, and this is the same text that we had last week. And the image is new because I'm in love with Microsoft Designer, and if you haven't tried it, go for it. But Copilot is basically something that will help us as persons in work or in life to improve our performance and to improve the way that we work and to support us with things that may be a bit more operational than strategic. So Copilot is something to rely on, and the word says it. As a copilot in a plane, a copilot in work is someone that helps us, something that helps us to leverage the way we work. So that's where we are today with Copilot. This is something we already saw as well, and probably you've seen it all across LinkedIn, Twitter, and many other social media. You can see that Microsoft Copilot is clearly expanding throughout all the products. The most useful for developers is GitHub. Then we have embedded in Power Platform. And of course, we have for Dynamics, we have one for supply chain that is quite strong. And Microsoft 365 Copilot is the one that we spoke a bit last week. And it's quite interesting to see how the way we work in all of these stacks and all of these streams is sort of improved with the usage of Copilot. And this will, of course, doesn't count all the Copilots we can create for ourselves. So I don't think we can count them anymore. If you want to know how many Copilots we have now, you can ask Donna Sarkar in Twitter, and she will happily answer. Probably she will not have the exact answer, but still she will have an overall idea. Good. So this is the introduction. What is Microsoft Copilot Studio? So these are all fancy words, but basically for those who are in the Power Platform space and they have been there for a while, the Microsoft Copilot Studio is not more than Power Virtual Agents Studio that now has transitioned and has a different name. Of course, it has a different name, but it has a lot more functionalities. So Copilot Studio was released last November in Microsoft Ignite as it with this name, with the Microsoft Copilot Studio. Charles Lamanna was wearing a shirt with this logo that you're seeing in the screen, and it was super. It was a hype. I was there. It was super nice to hear all the things that we could do. Of course, for the ones that we were in love with Power Virtual Agents, it was just such a change that is helping us to improve how we work and how our clients work. So as you can see on the screen, is this Copilot Studio is something that will help us create our own AI copilots with generative AI, without creating what we used to have to create in Power Virtual Agents, these huge threads of questions and answers and triggers and topics. Now we can create that, but we have generative AI responses that are going to make our life much, much easier. There are ways to integrate these copilots with websites or with documents or with other channels. So we will see that later on today. Well, this is something we already seen, but basically we have a lot of things that our Copilot can bring us to the workplace, and not only for ourselves, but for our team and our extended team, as well as our clients. So I've seen a couple of cases on Copilot Studio that improve a lot the time that we spend in some tasks. And I will show you one example that is my favorite, that I do it personally. So it's something that I really use my day-to-day when I want to retrieve information that I cannot keep track of. So this is all the benefits that we have. And then I brought you some Copilot Studio architecture. So you can see here that we have a couple of elements, but overall it's not a heavy or a very difficult architecture. So what you can see is of course the different components and where the environment of this Copilot, where is happening, which contains the rest of all the components, contains the channels. And you can see here we have plenty of channels. We have, for example, this is Copilot 365. Then we have Slack, we have Teams, we have Power Automate, we have Messenger, we have Dynamics, we have everything. This is Zoom, if I'm not wrong, of course, Twitter, and we have plenty of channels we can connect. We can connect with to our Copilot, and it's quite interesting. And then of course we have these possibilities of retrieving information from our AI builder or from our connectors that we have pre-built in Power Platform. So this is a little bit of this Copilot Studio architecture. I can share you at the end of the session, or probably share to through Alicia the resources, because these are Microsoft official resources, and I can share that with you if you want about the architecture, so you can add it to your sales pitch deck. Great. So then we have the Copilots and conversational AI. We see here that we have our Microsoft Copilot Studio, which helps us extend our first, it helps us extend and customize and build our own Copilots. When building, my first recommendation will be, is this in the roadmap from Microsoft? So for example, I've been discussing today with a colleague, Trudy, if you're watching, hello. And she wanted to invest, or she was considering investing time and resources in creating a Copilot for HR, for Dynamics HR. And even though HR is not a very trendy or very marketed solution, I wouldn't expend time or resources, because Dynamics will eventually have a Copilot for everything. So the Copilot that we create should be something that is adapted to our business and that is unique for us, and not something generic, like it's a product that will eventually be part of the Microsoft offering, because that could be, I mean, efforts that will not pay off. So here we have everything, and we have the different components that we can have, the Microsoft 365, the Peace apps, other Copilots, and my preferred one, the custom Copilots. Good. Generative answers considerations. We have different processes and different data sources. So we have three types of, let's say, activities we have to do, or activities we have, we can see in the screen. And then we have different sources. What I'm going to show you today is the public data. We're going to see how we can retrieve information from public data, including public websites in this case. And then we can also use SharePoint and some other information. I'm not going to use SharePoint today. I'm going to use public data and upload documents. So these are the two things that I'm going to use. And then you can see that we have much more. So you can include Azure OpenAI with your data or custom data. And but this will require a bit more of time. So that's why we're doing it very easily and very simple with these two options. And it's something that you can do very easily. There are some considerations that we have to do, like we have to take in accountability, and it's that when we retrieve public data from a public website, we cannot retrieve more than 4 URLs. But as you see in the screen, we can change that URLs, so it's not like fixed. When I decide to have this 4 URLs, I have to stick with them forever. No, we can be changing those URLs. Then we have we cannot go with a very in-depth URL. It has to be very like easy. It cannot go very deep. So as you see here, it's not a maximum of 2 subpages depth and no direct pages. And then for documents, we have a limit of 3 megabytes on the files that will be stored in Dataverse and indexed with Dataverse search. We cannot offer URL to source the documents in the citation. So when we ask a question and the Copilot is retrieving that information from the web, it will give us a quotation or a citation, citation, and we can click in that citation and go to the reference in the web. That's the only way we can ensure that a generative AI question is actually retrieving real information and validate that is correct. For documents, we cannot go to an URL to see that, but it will expand and it will show us where's the reference coming from, which part of the document we have uploaded is retrieved from. So basically the idea of this Copilot is to Of course, you retrieve information, but if you want to check the source, you can always check it by the citations, either from the public website directly to the public website, or the uploaded documents going through this. We will see it. It's a pop-up that shows us the sentence or the place where this quotation is being retrieved from. Good. So we're going to speak about the Microsoft Studio Copilot capabilities, and the idea is to sort of discuss a bit, I will discuss with myself, what is the idea of having this using Microsoft Copilot Studio. So you see here that we have the customize, and of course we have plenty of Copilots for products, but we want to have our own, so we can customize our own Copilot, bringing on our own data, customizing the connectivity and engaging like our Copilot with our platforms or with our URLs or with our data to retrieve information that makes sense for our business besides the product. Of course, one of the things that is really important and that all the partners and all the people that are working in this AI space are talking about is the quality of the data. And this will be the first step when reviewing or thinking on creating any AI product, not only Copilot. So using the power of data, it comes with a great responsibility that is having a clean and nice database, or at least data structure. So it's important to have that in the back of your mind. Of course, Copilot can automate workflows, as we saw in the architectural slide. You can see that the Copilot can trigger questions or trigger actions within the bot that can get actions executed. And then we have the first one, that's handle mission critical scenarios. And one example that I would like to share with you is a Copilot that we're not going to see today, but we can speak about it next time. That is about I got distracted reading questions. So the Copilot for Service, I don't know if you have tried it, is within the Copilot Studio, but it lets you add your URL for your ServiceNow Zendesk, and I think it says AP, I don't remember, the third part that you can integrate with. So basically this Copilot was created or designed especially for organizations that have critical service and action centers, and the idea is for us to chat with the Copilot to ask questions. How do I sort this issue? Let's say it's connected with ServiceNow and I cannot figure out how to do something. If the Copilot cannot retrieve the information from my system on how to sort that issue, what the system will do, what the Copilot will do, is to escalate a ServiceNow ticket. I will have to answer a couple of questions, but I will escalate a ServiceNow ticket. So it is a very nice change on the way we provide or handle these critical scenarios, mainly on these roles where we have agents facing these sort of challenges. And if you ever worked, or if you know how the agents work in the support lines, you know that there are lots of questions that could be really, really avoided if we had something like this. So maybe if we have time, we can see it today, and if not, we can see it next time, and we will dive deeper into it. Then we have our part when we can build. So the first one was customize. We start with this. Then we have build, when we can create a couple of things. This is sort of spoiling the demo, but don't worry, because there's a slides versus reality, and we will see that. Of course, build, because we will generate conversations. We will generate our conversations with the Copilot, the Copilot, and we can go one level deeper. And as I mentioned earlier, we can turn this conversation into action. Conversations into action. The goal of turning these conversations into actions is basically that the Copilot is not there just for responding, but also to provide solutions. And if sometimes the solution implies to raise a ticket or to escalate with an agent or something like that, that the Copilot can do it. So we are sort of independent in that way. We can also build our own modules. So this idea of AI being democratized is for us to sort of gain a lot of knowledge and power where it comes to what we need as a business, and not what the different providers want to give me and tell me I need. And then we can expand our Copilot where we want. And this is something we will also see later in the demo. Design, and here we are going to, this is the fourth, and we have design, and you can see that we can create our triggers, we can offer some personalization and responsive interaction. So you will see that the Copilot is really, really easy. If you have any experience with ChatGPT, with Bard, and something similar, you will see that is sort of the same. The prompts work similarly, but the difference is that it's retrieving information from the topic you are giving to that platform, and it's giving it in an environment that you already know, like Teams, for example, or if you use Messenger, or I don't know whichever channel you use. But I guess here we all use Teams because, of course, we are Microsoft first. We can build it the way we want it, and we can create and test, just not on ourselves, but with our colleagues, and to see if that works. And we can test it even before publishing it, which is super, super good if you are a little bit scared about publishing something without and being scared about the consequences. So this is the design phase, and then we have the platform. Of course, one of the first things that people is worried about this Copilot is, and because it's retrieving information from our web or our SharePoint, for example, is the level of security that we have. And I want to give you a very clear message that you should not be worried about this topic. Copilot is a secure environment. If you don't have access to either, for example, ServiceNow or SharePoint or any private web or any private information, you will not access through Copilot. So just because we can retrieve it doesn't mean that we can access it. And it's a matter of the roles that I have, or the security and the security strategy within the company. So if I don't have access to a SharePoint site, but the Copilot retrieves information from that Copilot from that SharePoint site, it doesn't mean I will access it. I don't have access as a user to that information. I will not access that information through Copilot either. So we have analytics. Of course, we can see how our Copilot is doing, if we have questions or if we have issues, what is the ratio of usage, if we sort the issues that people is coming and asking to us, and all of that. And then we have, of course, the use of AI responsibly. We try to bring this component into every layer within Microsoft implementations. I think that one of the most important things is that, I think we saw it, maybe we didn't, I don't remember, but using AI responsibly means that every time we retrieve or we execute an action with AI, we will need to have a human interaction or human validation, because we cannot guarantee that what AI generated is it's correct. And you probably have seen it with Bard or ChatGPT when you try to find an answer and you know that the answer is not correct. So we rely on Copilot a lot. We believe that our data is correct, but then we have the second. We need to embrace or sort of review that what we created is okay. What AI created it's valid. So yeah. And this is it. So all of these slides with all these really cute screens that you can see here are all Microsoft official, and that you can find them in the web or in the Power Portal, in the Partner Dynamics 365 Partner Portal if you're a partner, and if not, you can find it probably in the Copilot Studio announcement. There's a lot of resources in there about the architecture, so I highly encourage you to go through if you want to use it by yourself or if you want to include it as an offering for your company. So yep, and without further ado, I think it's time to build our own Copilot. So we will I will try to tackle this in here. So welcome to our environment. I will just do it one less. I hope that works. It works. So while this is the Microsoft Copilot Studio, and probably you will have a deja vu seeing it and thinking, okay, this looks exactly the same as Power Virtual Agent. Let me tell you, it does, and it's big for a reason, because it's the evolution of what it like in Pokemon is the evolution of what it was Power Virtual Agents. You can see here that we have our create conversational experiences, build quickly, blah blah blah, and we can create a copilot. For the ones that are not aware of how a Power Platform environment works, this is our Copilot Studio. We have our environments here. I have a couple. I'm using this one because in this one it's not located in the US. Therefore, there are lots of things that I cannot do. Okay, and then we have the basic things like, you know, themes or whatever. Let's just give it a little more of color. We are going to go. We can go here, or we can go to Copilots, and here the Copilot will retrieve a lot the list of our Copilots. What I will do is I will go from the home page. I will create a new Copilot. Here I will put this Reactor Copilot. Okay, so let me in my second screen. Let's Google Microsoft Reactor, and let's put here our website. So give your Copilot some knowledge by setting up your generative AI. We will use generative AI, and this is the web we'll use. Let's see if in this case it will take it, and let's see if it will create it like this. Perfect. So this will take us a little bit of time, but it's very little. It's not a lot. And while it's setting up, we can start thinking about the documents that we want to create. So I do have something. One second. As you can see, it's super fast. It doesn't need to have a lot of time. We don't need to stay here for ages waiting till it develops. So you can see that. I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay, so you can see here like the welcoming page that is telling us new features with Copilot, and then we can see, okay, which features are new. Features with Microsoft Copilot. Then we have authoring and Copilot answers, elevate our messages with different media like videos or images. And then we have the expansion of our capabilities, what I was mentioning about having a action being executed after the question or the conversation has finished. So you see that I haven't done anything, right? I just created the Copilot. I put the link on where it is going to retrieve the information from, and you can see here that we have a hello, I'm a Reactor Copilot, a virtual assistant. Just so you're aware, I sometimes use AI to answer your questions. If you provided a website during creation, try asking me about it. Next, try give me some more knowledge by setting up generative AI. So while we can start asking right now, what we will do is we will go to here, generative AI piece. Yes, let's leave. And here you can see that I have a website, and also I have the part to upload a document. We can upload another website. Let's go and find something else for Reactor. So let's see if this one works, because I think it has. Hello. No, it's too deep. Okay, let's try to find another one. I think I found it. Okay, so we have this one, and we can keep adding our public websites into these resources. We can also retrieve SharePoint, but SharePoint, because I don't want to dive into SharePoint. Let's just leave it with a public and easy way to do it with the websites and the files. So websites are there. We can, I don't remember the maximum, but I think, sorry, 4, it's the maximum. And then we can add our documents. The document, it's basically for companies that already have in place something that is very well documented, that they have, I don't know, frequently asked questions, mission, vision, values, very like generic questions about employment, about hiring, firing, and all of that, HR policies or customer policies, whatever we want, in whichever scenario we want, either external or internal. And here we can see, here we can add it. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to use the files, but we are going to retrieve the information from the websites. We are going to, first I'm going to show you this, and then we're going to create a second one with just a file, so you can see how it works. So let's just, we have everything here and we can test it. Don't leave. Okay, so let's do, hello. Let's see, what can I ask, because reactor. Hello. When is the next Microsoft Reactor Toronto session happening? Let's see if it works. Fingers crossed, because there you go. So the next session of Microsoft Reactor Toronto is the Toronto AI Entrepreneurs Unite networking event. Unfortunately, the document does not provide a specific time and date for the event. So we can select, as you see, I've pressed this one that we have here, and also we can press it here, and it will retrieve us where this is coming from. So we can see that the next one is on January 23rd, and we will 23rd, so tomorrow, and we will have this humanity and tech AI powered social goods. So it's a matter of asking questions. Let's say, does Microsoft Reactor has any sessions on Copilot? And it will retrieve us some information about the Copilot. So as you can see here, we have, yes, there are sessions on Copilot. One of the sessions is called GitHub Copilot. Another session is called GitHub Copilot and involvement in practice development. What about the Copilot session we're having now? What about Microsoft Copilot Studio? And let's see if we're lucky or not, because, you know, Microsoft technology sometimes works the way they want. So make your own Copilot with no code. Yes, here we are. And if we go to the reference, you will probably see, yes, perfect. So yeah, that is how it works. The citations are very good, basically because I can validate that what is retrieving is real, and it's not like BART or GPT that sometimes invents, hallucinates in what the data is about. And that's it. So the first thing that we did was to create a Copilot that retrieves data from these two websites. And then we have other things to do. So this Copilot has not been published. This is just testing that I'm doing, just to validate that it works correctly, or it retrieves correct answers. Sometimes we need to double work a little bit more, because either the sources are not good enough, or the sources are not good enough, or the data is not well organized, and it could be a little bit messy or a bit confusing. Let's not forget that it's generative AI is taking a lot of protagonism in this creation. That means that there will be generation of content from the content that we provided. So it's very important to keep an eye on that. What is created, it's valued. Mainly if we're using Copilot for service, like customer service, because we don't want to have an angry client speaking to a bot and then not getting the right answer, but getting something that is completely not real. So yeah, this is basically it. If we go back to our view, we can say here, you can see that we can set up our generative AI. We already added a website. We can add files. And then if we select manage generative AI, it will give us back, it will take us back to where we were. Then we can create custom topics or plugins and actions. And if you haven't, I highly recommend you to go to the latest of April Dunham's plugin video. She explained it very well. And I think it's very important that we dive into what plugins are and how they can help us to sort of elevate a bit more what our copilots can do. Then we can extend it. I haven't tried that yet. And then we have some information, like, for example, the documentation, the product videos, but sometimes the product videos are a bit too like fluffy and they don't show the actual how to do it. So yeah, I recommend here to go on to the learn.microsoft.com and you will find all the documentation on Microsoft Copilot. Not only the how to get started, but also what's new, and if you have any issues, you can troubleshoot as well. What is nice is that we have for most of the streams, we have for more on the tech side, on the functional side, and from the business side as well. We can see like 3 different ways of reading how this works. And then there's something that if you're not aware of, I highly recommend you to dive a little bit deeper into it. And it's this community, Microsoft community. This applies for most of our products. And the idea is to create a community that leverages each other. So I'm facing issues, probably you're facing issues. If I post it and you read it and you know the answer, you can answer me and it will solve my issue, and it will generate a sort of community feeling that is very nice. And if you're not part of the Microsoft community yet, or you're thinking on getting involved a bit more, starting consultancy, or starting to be a key user that wants to add value to the company, Microsoft community is very welcoming. It's made of people like me and like most of you out there. And it's a wonderful place to grow. So I really encourage you to use this supporting community that is really supportive. Good. We want to generative AI. So you see here that we did everything. We can also create and improve a bit more what we used, but this is the basic training. And then we can see that we can use additional AI components in our Copilot, like chaining with generative actions or boosting our conversations with generative actions as well. Then we will have our topics and our plugins. In this case, I don't have any plugins, but you can see that the topics are already created. So you can see that back when we had Power virtualizations, we had to create this manually, right? We have to create our triggers and then the question and then the answer to the question. And it was a little bit difficult in these cases where we had, for example, this is the trigger for goodbye, right? So these are the phrases that trigger the question. And here we will say, the bot will respond, would you like to end our conversation? And if it's yes, it will end the conversation. If it's no, it will open up to keep listening or reading to the person. So these topics are now by default generated, and they are when we create the Copilot, they just come by. So it's like general topics like greetings, like hello, good morning, hi, hello, how can I help you? And then that's it. So these questions and answers are something that we had to create in the past, and now it's just magical. Here is where we're going to have our plugin actions. Go to check April Dunham video. I will put it in the chat, send it to Alicia, put it somewhere, but please do, because if you're not doing that, you're missing out really. And then we have the system that I'm just going to completely ignore it. I don't care. Those topics and plugins, the entities, as you see, they're also predefined. I haven't done anything. Analytics will be empty, but once we have it published, we can monitor how our our Copilot is doing. And this is very interesting because you can see, for example, the total sessions, the engagement rate, the resolution rate. So this means that the time that the person was able to log in, ask the question, resolve the issue, and keep going. So it's not that you're just creating a Copilot for people to improve how they work, but also you're sort of measuring how the work is improving, how we are reducing times from our, I don't know, HR support team to to solve issues that are easy to solve via Copilot. This will not load because I don't have it published. I cannot analyze it. But here you can see, for example, the customer satisfaction, the sessions, the billing, or the boost conversations. How is that going? How are the analytics going around it? Great. So now what we're going to do is we're going to publish our Copilot. If you did work with Power Virtual Agents, this is the same process that we had. If you haven't worked with Power Virtual Agents, this is how we published our Copilot, and it's super easy. So you can see here that we have the channels, and this is the analytics. The analytics, we already seen it, and now we have the channels. So we're going to go to the channels, and you can see that we have a lot of them. So we have Microsoft Copilot, this preview, but it will be for sure general availability. We have Teams, we have demo website, we have custom website, mobile app, Facebook, Skype, Slack, Telegram, Twilio, Line, GroupMe, direct line speech. Listen to that. And email. So we have all of that, okay? I will not use any of this. I will just use, I wanted to use demo website. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, so let me reload this. And let's see if we can use the demo website. And if not, it's fine. But basically, the demo website is something that is the same that we had for Power Virtual Agents. No. Manage security authentication. Well, I will leave it like that, and we can have a demo. Okay, so I cannot do it. Oh, yeah, I can do it with Teams. Great. So I can do it in Teams. We are going to turn this on in Teams. It will retrieve the... Sorry that I had a sort of a lapsus. We will call it Reactor Copilot. Let's see. Let's change the color to make it nicer. Perfect. Change the icon to, oh, nope. Let's leave it like that. Save. And it was added. Okay, so why is it not working? Nothing's working now. Okay, so it should be already here. Wait. So this is Reactor. And this is why doing demos sometimes is risky. But we will find a way. Doesn't matter. It's nothing's working out. It doesn't matter. Anyway, we can see it as a chat bot within our Teams. What I will do now is, because I have another Copilot that I created, I will show it to you here. So it's not the same that we just created, but it's a Copilot that has data. So hi, I'm your HR assistant. Just so you're aware, sometimes use AI to answer your questions. And here you can say, what is the ACME policy on holidays? And this is because I created a Copilot that is based on a document that is called the ACME HR policy. And this Copilot is basically retrieving that information. So here you can see that ACME Technology Switzerland provides 20 days of vacation per year for full-time employees after the first year of employment. And if we select one, you can see here that it should be citation one. Nothing works. The company also observes, so as you can see, I'm interacting with a Copilot that is embedded in Teams. And if I'm lucky, maybe next time I can show you the one that we just built, but in Microsoft Teams. So after we decide the channel, we can publish it and we can monitor how that works. So it's super easy. It's super nice. Besides the fact that it didn't work the publishing, which is fine, let's just review the issues. I'm not going to do this now because I will waste a lot of your time without any added value. So we created our Reactor Copilot. I will leave it there. I will use it. I will leave it there, and we will on Wednesday we can see if I made it work magically within either Teams or our public website. And what I wanted to share with you is something that I built from my own learning or for my own, my own learning. So I created a spot that is called Nova. And Nova is basically a bot that I use when I want to retrieve information of important websites that can keep me updated on the latest HR trends. So as you can see, if we go here to the, conversational, no, this is not where I want to go. Here, to the generative AI, you can see that I have Forrester, Gartner, McKinsey, and Wallop. Because the limit is 4, sometimes I delete one and I add a new one. But basically, we can ask like, what are the latest trends on HR for, let's say, recruitment in 2024? Let's see if we have an article that will retrieve that information. And you can see here that in a second, it's giving me all of this data. The latest trends for recruitment include leader and manager development, organizational culture, blah, blah, blah. And if we retrieve, if we select a citation here, we'll see that Gartner, what will HR will focus in 2024, and then the top 5 trends and priorities for 2024, also from Gartner. This is just something that I use in my day-to-day because I cannot keep up with all this immense reports they're building. So I just basically sort of find a shortcut. Maybe for you is the latest developments, the latest like the things that Microsoft published about product, the roadmap, the government, the football. I don't know, maybe you follow a football league and you want to be aware without having terms at home. So you can create your own Copilot for that. It's like the sky's the limit. And I highly, highly encourage you to not use it only for things like tech or business, but also for things for work. This is that I'm showing you it's a little bit of work, but it's mainly something that I feel deeply connected with. So yeah. And then we have just 10 minutes and I don't want to leave without answering the questions that I have in the chat. But what I wanted to show you is that you can see here we have something different that is called Agent Copilot. This is Microsoft Copilot for Service, and it's the one that I shared with you that we will extend with our where is it? We can extend it with our ServiceNow link, ServiceNow environment, or Zendesk, or I think it's SAP, and we can just include that resources within the Copilot. So overall, this is a very short and hectic and roller coaster introduction into Copilot. I didn't want it to to go deeper into the things that we weren't able to I wasn't able to showcase. So with that said, I will spend the last 10 minutes answering your questions, and I hopefully will have the answers. And if I don't, ping me on the side, and I will just remember my name, Ana Urrutia, and you can find me on LinkedIn and ask me the questions that I didn't answer. So we have a question from Fraser. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, and if not, I'm really, really sorry. He's asking, they are asking about, do you have an estimate date when we can get Copilot for companies less from 300 users? And I have a good news for you, and it's that is already happening. I think it has been announced last week or the week before, so it's fine if you're not aware. But yes, it's already available, the general availability, let's say, for companies that have an enterprise that you don't need to purchase 300 seats. So that's it. Hope it answers the question. Then we have Kwon Hyun, I hope I'm doing it right as well. For uploaded documents, is the content secure to be accessed only for our company, and the learning model is for our company use only? So there are two questions. The first one is about the security of the content, meaning that the content secure to be accessed only for our company. Yes, if I don't have access, if we work in the same company, you have access to your files, to your proposals, let's say, and I don't have access to those proposals, I could never retrieve information from those proposals. So the information is secured in the space that needs to be secured. It doesn't matter if the Copilot what I mentioned. It doesn't matter if the Copilot is retrieving that data. If I don't have access, it doesn't matter. I cannot access anyway. So that's how the security will work for that. Good. So I hope I answered the question. Then we have Hayasre. Could you please elaborate on the bit that Copilot retrieves private info but we can't access? So we can give Copilot all the documents, all the SharePoint sites, everything that we want. If my user doesn't have access to that content, I cannot access. So it's basically, I think I'm going to answer this question quite some times, but yeah, that's it. So security will be a first priority for Microsoft overall, and guaranteeing that you don't access to things that you are not supposed to is also a priority. Good. Armata, what are the basic cost and pricing of a deployed generative AI Copilot? That will depend a lot, and that's a basic consultancy answer. But the cost overall will depend on a lot of components. How many people will use it, how many answers or how many interactions you will have, the type of agreement you have with Microsoft. So it's an overall, and also how difficult will be to be deployed, because this that I showed you is quite easy, but it may happen that you have some complexity or some actions that you want to execute, and you have the services on top of the licensing. So it's not a question that I can answer without any context. So if you have any specific case that you want to discuss, more than happy to help you. So yeah. C10, thank you for your question. If there are conflicting information in the website you set up and files you uploaded, what will be the result? Very nice question, and I was thinking about that what I was doing. What I will do in the meantime, between now and Wednesday, I will create a Copilot that has contradicting information, and we will see how AI works in that sense. I think that is fun to test, because at the end is AI versus AI itself, and we can do it together. I think I need to write that down so I don't forget, just in case. Conflicting Copilot. I even like the name, Conflicting Copilot. Thank you very much, Sichen, for the inspiration. So Anders Sem, thank you for your questions. He says, they say, I have a question. Can Copilot use data from SharePoint site from documents library? If you have the link to SharePoint, you can put it in the link section that I showed you earlier today, and it will retrieve information from that SharePoint site. So it should be easy. Good. Then we have Jason Gleason. Thank you for your question as well. Could a company's service now be used as a source in a Copilot? For instance, the full story of support tickets to answer common questions. So that's the goal of Microsoft Copilot for Service, that we have our service now as a back. And the idea of Microsoft Copilot for Service is more for facing agents. So meaning if I'm the first line speaking to people that need support, I will access to the information and I will escalate the ticket. But I think we can find a way where the information has been retrieved from from ServiceNow, and then it helps us to see the history of Copilot. I said Copilot too much. The history of the incident and the tickets assigned or the people involved and so on. So I hope we can make that work. I'm currently working in something like this with KPMG here in Switzerland and with the team in Switzerland for HR transformation. So I will keep you posted on how that works. Great. Deb Dye, hello. Hi, Anna. Thanks for the great presentation. Thank you for being there. I tried to set up a Copilot and uploaded a document. Is the ability to ask a question about the content live yet? So if you already did that, you can start asking questions. If you already created your Copilot and added the document, start asking right away that it should retrieve real and correct information. Collected by the DEY Will there be issues if I'm using Firestore for our database? That's a very good question. I have absolutely no idea. So Firestore as a database. Sorry that it's taking me a bit, but I'm just writing down. I don't want to forget this. No, I don't know. I need to do my homework and I will get back to you probably on Wednesday. If you're here, I will answer these questions that we have a conflict Copilot and Firestore as the database. Thank you. Kuno, again, thank you very much. What is the way of working to let the Copilot to unlearn? Some information can become obsolete and replaced with new. That is your work, basically. Human work, human input will be needed. It's not like you create your Copilot and the information you add is valid forever. Information processes update, and as that updates, we also need to update the sources that are feeding our Copilot. So I would highly recommend you to, if you create Copilots or for clients, that as a good practice to review the content or the sources of that Copilots once in a while to keep in the back of your mind that it's accurate and not obsolete anymore. Great. So we have again another question collected by DIYversity. What can and cannot be done with the LinkedIn one? Is there a documentation that can be done? And then there's another question clarifying that is not LinkedIn, is Facebook. So I will do the homework. You're making the hard questions today. Facebook channel. Of course, there's documentation for everything. I will search it for you, and we can discuss it. We can discuss it next Wednesday. And Kwong, hello again. Is there support from websites that ask for credentials users login? I'm not sure I understand fully the question, but if you can write to me through LinkedIn, because we're running out of time and I don't want to steal anyone's time, send me a message through LinkedIn, explain me your question, and I will happily answer. And last but not least, we have Stefan Nae. Hello, can it be integrated with personal calendar? This is pretty much the same. I will have to test it, but the Copilot is basically not for this that you're asking for is what Microsoft 365 Copilot was built for. It's not the one that we're reviewing today, which is Microsoft Copilot Studio, but the Microsoft 365 Copilot that will help you to work with your personal data, personal calendar, Outlook, documents, and so on. So that is basically it. So I just don't want to steal anyone's time. Feel free to reach out. Ask me any questions you want, anything you would like to discuss, and we'll happy to sort it out. I'll see you all next Wednesday, and I hope you are here to answer questions, so to ask questions. Thank you very much. Thank you, Alicia, of course, for your support as well.